KTM 1290 is in for Chain and Sprockets. Got a lovely gold chain for it. Also some modifications. So Debbie was kind enough to get me this really long piece of shrink wrap. So I am going to replace the shrink wrap. It's winter at the time of filming here, so one quick journey means I get salt everywhere. Replace the shrink wrap, which just doesn't look fantastic on the aftermarket indicators. I've also got a brand new number plate for it. I still don't have the nuts for the R&G number plate light, but Debbie assures me she's got some M3s on the way, so fantastic. I can't wait to chop this chain off. It actually cleaned up pretty good, didn't it? But let me show you why we're doing chain and sprockets. Look at that. Okay, you'll be like, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. Actually, look at that. So it is adjusted within tolerance, but the chain itself has got so much movement on it that it really needs to be replaced. And I can't wait to replace the sprocket, although I kind of regret getting a silver one, because I should have stayed with black, to be fair, and it wouldn't show up the dirt so much, you would think. And my helper today is Hero. Hero is demanding food. I've only got oil on my fingers, don't lick my fingers. It's just oil and it's not for dogs. So what do you mean, Dad? This is his favourite box, because inside of this box are treats for dogs. Wow, what have we got? Okay, go on then. Pick yourself something. Go on then. And he's off. It's a dog's life, really. What you got there? A sausage roll? Wow. Nice. First thing is to get the Oberon slave cylinder off the bike. Out of the way. Okay, and this one. We're already dropping. Oh, that's grim. Delicious. Oh, give me an option to tidy all of this up anyway. And I want to bleed the slave cylinder too. So let's just pop that off. Yummy. Always worth checking for... That's pretty tidy, to be fair. Always worth checking for leaks. I'll give this a bit of a Brucey sprucey. And then we'll see if we can get the cover off. These look a little bit more corroded. Oh, that was not too bad. Nice. Okay, not too bad. I was expecting worse. Oh yes, and I got a quiet. Luckily I'm replacing it with another. So I'll give this area a bit of a tidy up. So stage one is going to be to drop the bike back down. Nice. Now that the bike's on the ground, it's time to remove the old chain, and what I'm going to do is grind off a couple of the pins, which will allow me to take a link out, and then we should be good. I'm just going to see if this will now fail by boshing a screwdriver in and seeing if I can convince it to come apart. So after a little bit of popping a screwdriver in, just gently wiggling, there we go. Front's off. I can push it through once I've got some gloves on, and then remove the chain. So pop the link through. Worn out old chain, it's done lots of miles, and then what will happen is it all just comes apart. Nice and easy, and I'm just going to thread it through. I'm going to use two hands for that so it doesn't like chew itself on all the guides. Ooh. Oh, old chain. You've done so well. make it into a piece of artwork. Yay! I'm not expecting these to be easy to remove, so I'll have a quick go and then I'll upgrade my ratchet. But look at the movement. Whoops, not doing my artwork. Look at the movement. I'm told that that's okay-ish, but we'll need cushions. I can't find cush drives at a reasonable price, and if I did, I'd replace the cushions and the actual thing that they sit in. I'm going to use this product called Bulldog BDX. You may have seen it in some of my other videos. It's a really good penetrator. Go make a cup of tea, put the kettle on, give it 5 minutes to do its job, and then let's whip these nuts off. See how well this goes. Excellent day. You can do it. Cool. I think that's corrosion modern Loctite. I've got them all off, haven't I? Yeah. Let's see if we can get release. Some are holding on for dear life, others are ready to let go. Oh, come on, off you come. How long has this sprocket been on this bike? Forever. Careful not to chew up the threads, but yeah. There's just quite a lot of corrosion going on there. See if we can save them. 2. Whilst I give every bit of this a chance to soak down and get rid of its goop, I'm just going to release. And then loosen off the hub, because I'm never going to be able to fit a chain with a hub as tight as it was with a slack chain. And my motorcycle's having a little pee because these are notorious for collecting water where the bearings are. So what I did, if I just reset, is to loosen off the hub. And what will happen is the hub will move forward. There we go. The bike has a little wee, because they are notorious for collecting water, and then people have to pay out lots and lots of money on replacement bearings. It's just a common fault with this motorcycle. I've seen guys drilling holes to release the water, and then what happens is dirt just ingresses up into the hole and blocks it, but yeah, it's fine, it's a fix of sorts. So that's the water out anyway. I'm going to let that have a dry. Everything else here is soaked down, just so I can degrease and clean before I think about fitting the new sprocket. I really wish I'd bought black. And there's the old one. So compared to the new, of course the old one's going to have signs of wear on it and all that stuff. It's to be expected. Yeah, it's an old chain, it's old sprocket kit. I'll do the front one in a second, and I'll be glad to have a nice gold one on here, but first the cleaning will take place. That's going to take me forever. So a bit of a tidy up later. I've got the nuts just in a little bit of paraffin just to help degrease them. I've removed the pinch bolt because, as you saw, water was coming out. In my opinion, what I've read on the forums is a lot of people get packing loads of grease in there, which I think is a huge mistake, because all it will do is, once water ingresses into the bearing area, they're going to increase the level of the water because grease is going to be all at the bottom. And that's certainly what I found. I've cleaned this bolt off and there was an absolute ton of grease on the end of it. So I'm giving it a bit of a tidy up. And what I've done is clean it out with compressed air. And then I've liberally applied Bulldog BDX inside of there. And it's all looking pretty nice. Not too bad. So I'm just going to pop these out. let them have a little dry. I mean, these are just covered in crud that's come off of the chain and that, so just really need to dry them. That's been kind of useful. And then this is the link that I cut off of the chain, and what I'm actually interested in is where the O-rings sit. So you can see here that where the O-rings used to sit, I hope you can see that, the areas are very clean. And that means that although the chain was worn and looks dirty and worn and stuff, you see there's two rings there. Oh my gosh, hold it properly, Alex. There and there. That water didn't, or whatever, didn't ingress past the rings, O-rings. Pretty good, interesting. In the bin. Tightening the nuts up is, for me, a question of holding it from behind and then doing it up. And the reason I'm doing that is to ensure that there's like a T-piece, if you like, and if it doesn't fit incredibly, well look, I can push it out of place and then it can be attached like that. That's just going to smash into things and do loads of damage, so it's got to be rotated, and I'm going to apply pressure whilst doing it up. I'm going to need 2 hands for that. So. Okay, all nipped up, and I've checked that the bolts behind them are all absolutely in place. This is a bit of a dirty job, and the reason the bike's looking so dirty at the moment is it is winter in the United Kingdom. So I can make this as clean as possible, and the moment I ride out, this bike's going to be covered in salt and grit and all sorts of stuff that's on our roads. So this is just the joys of island life. So I'm just going to torque them up now, and I may need to hold the rear as I do it. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to hold it whilst I do it. So I'm going to be doing it crosswise. So this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, like a star shape. They're all torqued up. Let's get this axle bolt installed, but not tightened up. And now I think we need a new chain. Given that this motorcycle has super high mileage on it, and I have chosen it a gold chain because I like them. I've saved some money, and I saved some money by buying the correct dimensions rather than a chain that was specifically said to work on this motorcycle. Let me just explain myself. This is a 525 by 112 heavy duty X-ring chain, which didn't say it was for this motorcycle. But because I got the specifications right, I was able to purchase this chain here for £45, including postage, whereas a DID, which is a fantastic brand, but am I going to fit 130 quid's worth of DID? Shop around, you might be able to shave a few quid off of that. Am I going to spend 130 quid on a DID chain on a bike with a gazillion miles on it and this sort of wear? No, I'm not. But I am going to treat it to a heavy duty chain that meets the correct specifications for this bike. Sometimes it's worth doing that in the respect of, even if I find a DID chain that's a 525 with 112 links, at the time of searching, the best price I could get was maybe about £117 from a supplier I don't know anything about. Whereas this was so much cheaper. And yeah, supposedly it's made in Japan. But it's going to get me through winter and then into spring. So it's going to meet salt, it's going to meet rain, it's going to meet all the bad things. And to be fair, its construction, it feels really heavy, it feels fantastic. And yeah. There are X-rings, so it's just like, oh, okay, I'm not doing too bad. Obviously it's going to stretch, obviously it's got to bed in, let's see how we go. And there are chain manufacturers out there that will admit that they're made in China and all that sort of good stuff. Whichever, this one meets the specifications for the bike, and whether it's made in China or Japan or wherever, if it gets me through winter, that'd be fantastic on this old motorcycle. Okay, let's get the pin in. So I've got my link, I've got my 4 X-rings and a bit of lube. So I'm going to start by popping the first 2 X-rings on here. There's already a little bit of lube on there, but I need to get some more out of this packet. And yes, DID do it better. Go. Lovely. And just make sure those X-rings get a little bit. What I'm going to do now is just pop it through the back of the chain, and then I'm going to rotate the chain down to about here, where I'm then going to install the outer X-rings and cover, and then I'm going to fit them on. I'm just going to add a bit more grease here. Doesn't matter if I overdo it on the grease, because with chain cleaning it'll come off, but I need to know that there's some inside of the X-rings. So there's the 2 X-rings on, and then this is the outer link which will push over. Seems to be the same both sides, so there we go. So what I've been doing is just pushing with my thumbs, and you can start to see that the pins are starting to make their way through. You can you can see that the pins are making their way through the outer link, but it can. So now that I've pushed the pins through the link as far as I can with my fingers, I'm now going to move over to a tool that will assist me in doing a better job. And that tool, this is the back piece, has space here for the rear pins on that link. So if I pop that on there, in a moment it will fit. There we go. And then I have a front piece, which I actually need that one up there. I actually need to put a couple of these in. One. The lower one is just nigh on impossible. It's such a faffer, but I'm holding it with one of my fingers. And I'm going to pass this through the hole in the lower one, and hopefully it goes into the back piece and start screwing in, even if it has decided it's gone off at one angle. And then I'm going to get this, pop it through that top one, come on bolt, and then screw it into the top. So what I've got is a 19mm spanner at the back just to hold it in place. I'm just going to tighten up these 2 screws. And what that is doing, again, is it's just pushing everything together, and it'll be bringing those pins through. We'll have a little look and see if they're coming through yet. So you can just see that the pins are starting to come through. I'll tighten them up a bit more. So once the pins protrude, I can then... So they don't look as if they're quite through yet, they're just on their way. I'll tighten these 2 up a little bit more. What you're looking for is to make sure that everything is in line. As in, is this link here in line with the one that I'm fitting, in line with the one from the front? All the rear ones will seem fine, but it's the front one we're interested in. Because I'm not sure, I'm going to take this off and just have a quick look, because it's not going to hurt, is it? Looking pretty chipper. They actually look really good. So all I'm going to do now is insert these, which are going to marry up beautifully. There's the other one. With the rivets, and again we're just splaying the outer edges of it. You can use a powered tool, you can use your own spanner, it's entirely up to you. Whilst I do this, I'm going to hold the entire tool with a spanner on the back there, just so that it doesn't wiggle too much and that I've got perch. So I'll be able to hold it whilst tightening them up. Says. How tight is too tight? You'll know when you've ruined it. I don't believe that is enough. So what I'll do now is I'll just go in with a manual ratchet and tighten it up to a level I'm happy with. I wish there was a torque setting or something for these, but I've never found one. What you can do is do them one at a time so that you can see the difference between then and before and after. So all I've done is just nip them up with this, and hopefully that's just parted the waves. I might just undo it now and have a little look. And then we'll have a quick look, see what we've got. So I'm really happy with how they turned out. I'm really happy with how the tool worked. In order to, you can see that the link isn't a stiff link. It's no stiffer than any of the others. If you oversplay these or over crush it, you'll end up with a stiff link, and you'll probably feel it when you're riding, and then you're just stressing everything that's going on here. But they look nearly as wide as what we've got. They're definitely not going to go back through. So happy days. And I'm not worried about a little bit of grease protruding. That's going to happen. I'll just switch it around a bit. It's good for the chain. Okay, I'm just going to drop the bike down so that I can actually tighten the chain. Let's release it from its shackles. And unlike normal motorcycles, being this is not a normal motorcycle, your chain tension is not checked here. Your chain tension is checked up here, and there are 2 marks. And so what I need to do is lift the chain, and it needs to be between those 2 marks. So probably over tighten things right now. Just loosen it off a little. There we go. And then the chain's got to be between these 2 marks. So it didn't go no higher. Looking pretty good. So the 2 marks, level marks, are here, and the chain mustn't exceed them. So I guess that is the chain tightened. Just going to tighten this bolt up now. Don't forget, I packed this area with Bulldog DDX. And then I'm going to torque it